What was once only understood by a relatively fringe communities and anti-establishment investors has now become a household name even with those who don't own any. We're talking about crypto, of course. Analysts have estimated that the global cryptocurrency market is able to more than triple, but what will it take? What does the future of crypto look like? Let's take a look at what the experts have to say. First up, the regulation of cryptocurrency. Lawmakers all over the world have been struggling to figure out how to establish laws and guidelines that would help to make cryptocurrency safer for investors, easier to use for beginners, and much less appealing to cyber criminals. US officials now have a particular interest in stablecoin regulation after the Terra Luna crash that saw many of its investors lose their investments in a matter of days. As high as the stakes have risen, it's simply impossible to continue on without some form of regulation, and the domino effect that followed Terra's fall has only given federal regulators more reason to push for crypto regulation. As Marcus Soterio puts it, the collapse of DeFi lenders could be the reason that regulators have been looking for to implement draconian controls over cryptocurrency, not to mention the obvious interest the IRS has in making sure that investors are aware and competent in reporting their virtual currency when they file their taxes. There's no way around, even if it presents us with the perfect paradox. Crypto has grown too big for its own good, which was the goal, but what made it interesting in the first place, complete freedom and anonymity, has become its biggest and most unforgivable liability if it wants to keep growing, and that's the absence of regulation. Next, the impact regulation would have on cryptocurrency. The biggest reason that crypto could thrive to begin with was its volatility and anonymity, and the bigger it gets, which is what we all want, the higher the chances that something will go wrong if we continue to operate without any regulation at all. But you're right to be worried that attacking that particular issue would result in crypto losing its fundamental character and ruin it in the process just as badly as no regulation would have done. So a balance has to be found between regulation and complete lawlessness. Maybe there's room for the industry to start self-regulating, something that consumers have traditionally responded to with suspicion, but in this case, it might be the potential solution to the unique and novel risk that comes with crypto regulation. In the long run, regulation will be better for everyone involved as long as those regulations are laid out with sense, reason, and the core values of crypto as a main guide to set up rules. It's important that we do it right the first time around, so taking our time to set up regulations will be vital. Following, when mainstream companies adopt crypto and what the impact could be. 2021 saw mainstream companies across multiple industries take interest in cryptocurrency and blockchain, even if they didn't outright invest in it themselves as well. For example, Square and PayPal have also put a bet on crypto by allowing their users to buy on their platforms. Tesla continues to go back and forth on its acceptance of Bitcoin payments, despite holding billions in crypto assets, but does accept Dogecoin payments. There's been a tremendous inflow of attention, and that momentum will continue to drive the growth of the industry, as it's been low-key doing for a while now. Experts predict that this growth could get a jumpstart the moment bigger global corporations start adopting crypto in the latter half of 2022. So the question is, will one of the big boys come on board? Imagine the chain reaction that would be kicked off if Amazon were to adopt crypto. That would lead to many others following suit, simply because it would add a lot of credibility to crypto. And though it may not make a lot of sense for most people to handle crypto on a daily basis, more retailers accepting payments in crypto will almost certainly change that landscape. It only makes sense that demand and value are more likely to increase if there are more and more real-world uses for crypto. Hold up, don't go anywhere just yet. Next, we're looking at the future of DeFi, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Does DeFi have a future, and is it wise to step into it? Can Ethereum come back from its fall? And do the experts feel like Bitcoin can come back as well? Stick around until the end of the video to make sure you've heard everything you need to know. And now, the future of DeFi. If you have an interest in crypto, you've definitely come across the term DeFi. Just in case you don't know what it means, DeFi stands for decentralized finance. It refers to an online world of alternative services powered by cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. Essentially, DeFi uses smart contracts, which replace traditional intermediaries like banks and lenders. Instead of having humans in control, our everyday finances are managed by software, which is also why there's no central authority to report to in the DeFi space. If you want full and complete control over your asset, DeFi is the place for you to be, but the price that you pay here is the extreme risks. If you thought Bitcoin had risks because of its lack of regulation, you should definitely stay away from DeFi. It's not recommended to start meddling here if you're completely new to the crypto market at all. A decent amount of experience is very much recommended before you attempt to conquer the DeFi market. DeFi is still in its infancy. A lot of fine-tuning is needed before it will lose the same wild west feeling the internet used to have. Until then, you'll take much more risks with your money in the DeFi space because it's wholly unregulated. But you do have a lot more freedom and control. It's up to you to decide if that makes up for each other. Next, the future of Ethereum. This may very well be the year that will make or break Ethereum. Like Bitcoin, Ethereum can serve as a good measure of the state of the market. It's the second largest and well-known altcoin on the current market and has grown exponentially in value since its launch back in 2015. And even though the numbers look a little dreary at the moment, experts agree that Ethereum's price has the potential to climb again in the remainder of 2022. Just how much that will be, in part, depends on the success of Ethereum's massive upgrade, dubbed the Merge by insiders. The upgrade promises to make the network more efficient, faster, and cheaper to use, all because its technology is supposedly much less energy intensive as the current technology. If Ethereum didn't bite off more than it can chew, experts are convinced Ethereum has the potential to once again break the $4,000 mark in 2022. Some are even confident that the numbers will end up as high as $12,000. Needless to say, experts and investors are keeping a very close eye on every step leading up to the merge, with some even taking advantage of the current market downturn by buying the dip ahead of it. But as with all investments, only time will tell if this is a good idea or not. And to close things off, the future of Bitcoin. As with pretty much everything in life right now, the crypto market is uncertain. Bitcoin and the broader market have been visibly sinking this year amid the ongoing macroeconomic instability, which has mostly been driven by a surging inflation, a trembling stock market, rising interest rates, and fairly reasonable recession fears. And the fall from Bitcoin's high of over $68,000 was hard. No wonder if some have started to doubt whether Bitcoin has a future at all. Experts are divided on whether Bitcoin has bottomed out yet, with a good portion of them afraid the worst is yet to come. But what may help is allowing for some perspective. Kiana Daniel, author of Cryptocurrency Investing for Dummies, explains how there have been plenty of huge spikes followed by pullbacks in Bitcoin's price since the very beginning. What I expect from Bitcoin is volatility short-term and growth long-term, she says, based on the history of Bitcoin as we know it. So maybe Bitcoin hasn't bottomed out yet, but even with all the drawbacks of at least very partial regulation, the future of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is still bright with potential. As many experts have said from the very beginning, it's a matter of when, not if, Bitcoin will bounce back. And when it does, there are those who are certain we have only seen the beginning of what crypto can become worth. Even the current state of affairs is not enough to shake the conviction of the experts that believe Bitcoin will still hit the $100,000 mark. Take from that what you will. And that's all we've got for now. How has your experience with cryptocurrency been? Did you invest in it at an early stage? Are you still in limbo? Or is there nothing that can convince you of the validity of anything related to crypto? Let us know in the comments what your experience has been and what you think the future of crypto will hold. And thanks for watching.